Good day, good day, good day. Crucian Mahogany here, and welcome back to my channel. A lot of times people get into relationships and they don't realize what they have signed up for. This video showcases a couple that are still together. They are a married couple. Let's just take a look at it.
The fuck? I found myself in the same boat as Laura from that darn chat. Like, I literally, when this video popped up, I thought it was a woman talking about how she left an abusive relationship. I was going to the comments section to like cheer her on and be like, that's amazing. I'm so glad you're in a better situation now. And then I find out that no, this was posted unironically. They're still together. In fact, when people are like, this is unhealthy, this is abusive, this is a red flag, she is basically calling it a chronically online take. So let's be unequivocally clear here. If a man is comfortable hurting you, that is a red flag. If he feels no remorse when he hurts you, that is a red flag. If his idea of playing with you is bullying you and throwing you to the ground, that is a red flag. And while I hope one of those creators genuinely finds themselves in a better situation, dismissing this as boys will be boys is bullshit. Assault is not love. And making excuses for that kind of behavior is also a huge red flag.
I had seen so many stitches and been tagged in this so many times that I did not even go back and watch it. I thought that this was a video from a woman who had left an abusive partner, who was looking back and reflecting on having left an abusive partner. When I clicked through, she has a follow-up video where she's like, you guys are chronically online. To the woman in the video, we promise, none of us are going to say, we told you so. We are here with open arms whenever you get there. Whenever you are ready, we are here for you.
As the first one doesn't seem too harsh, as the two are both outside and Lewis is just throwing some snow on her, but then people point out how it gets much worse. Lewis is slamming Andrea to the ground. Some people are referring it to a WWE slam very harshly. Another clip where he's dragging her on the floor. At one point in this clip, Andrea is gasping for air. Andrea instead goes out of her way to go off on the people who were simply concerned for her. And all I have to say is her response to her supporters was just flat out disgusting.
Y'all are running your dirty little mouths, and it's time for me to speak up. First of all, the comments that you guys have been leaving are fucking disgusting.
I'm so afraid for this girl. Like, literally all of her videos is like him being super aggressive towards her, like throwing her around, pushing her down. Literally 30,000 people alone on that video said, girl, this is a red flag. And she goes, y'all are just chronically online. Y'all look young, like 19, 20. You think every abusive relationship starts with him socking her on the first date? It's like the love bombing, the pinching, like little stuff, more and more and more. Also, DV is very common. I feel like almost every woman in my life, all races, sexualities, almost every single one has dealt with DV. At least be on the lookout, and y'all stay safe, girl. I'm worried about you.
Y'all are running your dirty little mouths, and it's time for me to speak up. First of all, the comments that you guys have been leaving are fucking disgusting.
I think what's disgusting is that you have 7.2 million followers, a lot of which I'm sure are young girls. You post a video with a collection of behaviors and a caption that very much insinuates that there's something we should be concerned about. Then you vilify those young girls who rightfully have concern, belittling them to running their dirty little mouths and calling them disgusting for a narrative you created, which very much looks like a cry for help that you could take down if you were so bothered by the negative attention, but you won't because it's at 28.6 million views. With your clout chasing games, you have single-handedly contributed to women not being believed, and that women should not support other women when they believe them to be in distress. And I find that beyond disgusting. It's horrifying.
Ever felt that your favorite TikTok couple was gaslighting you? Well, if you have, it was probably this chick. Andrea from Andrea and Lewis posted a video and captioned it, "Moments when I thought my husband was being cute, but really, ... Then she proceeded to post a video where he slams her into the floor multiple times, lovingly. She starts up here and ends down here. Oh, and let's not forget the little caption at the bottom of the video. It says, but in fact was bullying me. So her 7.2 million followers respond by saying, wow, we're kind of worried. And instead of her making a video to reassure her 7.2 million followers, she makes a video basically yelling at them. How dare they be worried about her?
Growing up, my dad had a few rules for us, and one of them was that you don't allow people to play fight with you. So what do you mean by that? We aren't playing for fake ever. I was not allowed to play fight as a kid, really, and anytime that I did, it always escalated into a real fight. And that's why my dad told me not to play fight. And when I got a little bit older, he explained to me that people use play fighting to express their aggression in passive ways. Another rule my father told me is that you don't play the dozens with people that don't understand boundaries. Why? Similar to play fighting, they'll use that as a reason to verbally abuse you. Just a thought.
When I was 19, I found myself in a domestic violence relationship. And the beginning of that relationship was great. Yeah, sometimes he would play fight too rough. Sometimes his jokes weren't really funny, they were more mean. And yeah, sometimes jokes went on longer than I thought they should have, right? But, you know, that's your person. These are minor things, right? Until the play fighting wasn't playing anymore. Until he stopped pretending that his jokes were jokes. Until he started hiding my belongings to keep me from leaving. And then I realized that it was never a game to him, only to me. I was being slow-boiled like a frog. I say that to say that these are red flags. That is not a safe man. Someone who would hurt you for fun will hurt you for real, okay? They're not playing. You are.
You know that this is a second before he slams her to the ground. In her video, her husband slams her to the ground, pushes her down, and drags her across the floor. And she just laughs it off as, oh, that's all in good fun. It's goofy. It's funny. He didn't mean any harm. He was just using extreme physical force with me. It's all fine. I'm sure that my mom thought that my dad's bullying wasn't any big deal. Up until it was. Up until these things actually led to injuries. Up until it was obviously not an accident anymore. Up until he hugged her so tightly that he broke 3 of her ribs. These little jokes aren't funny. This shows disregard for her safety. This shows disregard for her as a person. It shows that he does not care. He will use force when he feels like it, and it will get worse.
Wait, I'm a domestic violence expert, and if your man is comfortable with throwing you on the ground, pushing you and painting it as jokes and as flirting or whatever, this is a huge red flag, and you need to be very careful and leave him as soon as you can in a safe manner if you can. But this is really, really heading towards a dangerous place, and we sometimes miss these signs, so let me tell you, this is a huge red flag.
I commented on this video and I said this is so sad, because it's so sad. And people were like, oh, shut up, like I can tell that you don't play fight. But if you go back to the video, she is not play fighting. She is hugging him, trying to do a little dance with him, and then he body slams her. They're not play fighting. He is play fighting and she is his toy. I want you to think about this. Have you ever seen a couple that has been married for 30 to 40 years and have a healthy, beautiful relationship play fight like that? No, because that doesn't happen in healthy relationships. No, because physical play fighting only leads to actual physical fighting. If the person that loves you the most doesn't feel bad for physically hurting you when you guys are playing, he won't feel bad to physically hurt you when you guys are actually fighting. So
As somebody who was in an abusive relationship from the ages of 17 to 21, this reminds me of my ex. And the thing is when we were together, he would always make me feel bad if I told him I didn't like this kind of rough play behavior he was doing. You know, the mental gymnastics. He was really good at them. I had to just be okay with him doing like stuff similar to that, because if not, then it was literally my safety at risk. And even with all that, he never body slammed me on the floor like that. That is not play fighting.
I've seen many women stitch this saying, yeah, I'm afraid of her. I am also very afraid of her. And that is classic. Someone, I saw a video say, this, if there ever was a case for why we should need to stop telling young girls, oh, he's mean to you, oh, he hit you, because he's just, that boy likes you, this. Because then we are conditioned to think this is just play fighting. Because look, he's laughing as he's dragging me through, right? And this isn't a drag on her. And I just want to say another thing. A lot of times when people who are in abusive relationships, women are in abusive relationships, I'm going to speak to women because I know men are also shamed, but I'm a woman, so I only know the experience of a woman. Lots of times, what happens? People will shame, absolutely drag. And then what do? They bully the victim. They may not bully, but they will drag and shame the victim for not listening to what they're saying. I know it probably for y'all it's concerning, and like everyone's like, oh my god, when people are showing concern and like, girl, this is domestic violence, this is not okay. And she says chronically, y'all are just chronically online. And that might make you upset, because why? Understand, why are you angry? Because you're anxious. You're like, oh my god, girl, this is not chronically online, please get out. But what you were doing is you're turning your anxiety and that anger and you're throwing it back at her and saying, oh my god, wow, yeah, watch what happens. I hope nothing happens to her. Another thing, I was talking to a friend about this because I was in a domestic violence situation. I didn't get physically, it was just sexual abuse. I shouldn't say just. But I have a friend who, well, she's no longer here due to domestic violence. And the thing I heard the most, and I was talking to one of my friends, and I was sharing my experience, how, like, I didn't understand how something like the gaslighting process of it. I didn't know the word gaslighting back then, but how, like, it's literally, like, makes you go crazy, right? It's like they're conditioning you. And she said something, and I want to sum it up. She was like, yeah, that makes sense, actually, because, like, you think about when you go into a zoo, you first smell all the, like, animals, and you're like, oh, what is this, disgusting? And she says all it takes is, like, 5 minutes for your nose to get used to the animal shit. And someone new walks in and they're like, what's that smell? Disgusting. You're like, there's no smell. And people will be like, what is wrong with you? You're crazy. Literally, that's abuse. That analogy, that's how long it takes for you to get used to the abuse. But have compassion for the women. I'm going to make a part 2. I'm going to make another stitch to this. But yeah, a part 2. Have compassion for the women who are in domestic violence situations and they might get defensive. Instead of attacking them and saying, oh, you are laughing and being like, oh my god, she's not leaving him. No shit. It's an abusive relationship, y'all. Have compassion for her.
I'm so happy that people are talking about this, because it's a little reminder that men who do not respect our boundaries need to be gone. Because they were not playfully fighting. I am sorry. When you're playfully fighting with your boyfriend, he makes sure that if you're going to fall on the ground, he's going to fall with you, that you fall on top of him and that you don't get hurt. Have you seen the scene when they're in this dark room and he picks her by her leg? That was giving Patrick Bateman. That was giving American Psycho. I really don't like that. So it's a little reminder. Do not date men who do not respect your boundaries. In the beginning of dating, pay attention to that. For example, you can't eat a certain type of food. Do they try to make you eat it, despite the fact that you've said that you can't eat it, that you're allergic? Big red flag. If you said that you didn't like something, do they acknowledge it? Are they like, okay, I understand, like, I won't do that again? Or do they try to push you, to push your boundaries? Now, there are some men who are not necessarily Patrick Batemans in disguise they just grew up with other boys and they don't really know how to treat a woman. But like at this point, she's not your bro. Like if you want to treat her like that, just get a boyfriend.
A lot of women don't recognize the signs of abuse, especially when you are in a delusion that this person loves you, or, oh, this is my person, this is my husband. You've already accepted that this is your partner. So you're thinking that, okay, well, I just have to kind of go along with this because this is what is expected of a partner. If they didn't love me or care for me, they wouldn't have married me, or we wouldn't be together. Or even as basic as, well, if they didn't love me, they wouldn't have sex with me. Yeah, they would. For those of you who may be in relationships that look similar to this one, keep in mind that you are this close to it becoming this big. Okay? Don't think that this person won't take it to another level. If you can accept it at this level, it's going to be this level and you'll accept it. And then when it comes to this level, you'll accept it. It can lead to a very detrimental place. Many of us sacrifice ourselves for these relationships. Some of us come out of it okay, and sadly others don't. Get help. Get help. And get out. Leave your comments in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel for more videos coming soon. And I will see you in the next video. Laters.